All right, today we're going to talk about something, a financial product that might just flip everything you think you know about mortgages and building wealth completely on its head. So let's just dive right in.
Let me ask you something. What if everything, and I mean everything you've been told about mortgages is just wrong? What if that amazing low interest rate you're so proud of isn't the one you think it is? What if it's actually a trap? That idea is key to everything we're about to unpack.
Okay, so first things first. We have got to bust a major myth. You know the one I'm talking about, this obsession with getting the absolute lowest interest rate possible. We're trained to chase these tiny percentage points, but nobody ever talks about the real cost, and that cost is your time.
So let's talk about Veronica and her husband. They did everything right. They built their dream home back in 2021, and they snagged what looks like an incredible rate, right? 2.75% on a $475,000 loan. I mean, who wouldn't want that? But, and here's the catch, they're staring down another 23.8 years of payments. They are literally handcuffed to that debt for almost a quarter of a century. That's the real cost.
Okay, now look at this. Just look at this direct comparison. With their current loan, they've got 286 more payments to go. But with something called an all-in-one or AIO loan, that same debt is gone in just 20 payments. We're talking 1.7 years. So yeah, saving over $141,000 in interest is amazing, but the real prize is the 22.1 years of their lives they get back. That's insane.
So you're probably asking, how on earth is that even possible? Well, it all comes down to how you build equity. The AIO completely flips the script. It takes your home from being this slow, kind of passive investment and turns it into a supercharged, active wealth-building engine.
Think about it. The old way, the traditional way to build equity, really only has one lever: appreciation, right? You buy a house, you cross your fingers, and you hope the market goes up over the next 30 years. It's slow, it's passive, and you have zero control over it. The AIO gives you a second, much more powerful lever, the paydown. This is something you control. It's an active process, fueled by your own paycheck, building equity every single day, no matter what the market is doing.
So how does it actually work? Well, it's pretty simple, actually. Imagine if your mortgage, your line of credit, and your main checking account all got merged into one. That's kind of what this is. When your paycheck hits your account, it doesn't just sit there waiting for bills. No, it immediately goes to work and reduces your mortgage principal. And here's the magic. Because the interest is calculated every day on that now lower balance, your money just slams that principal down even faster. It's a snowball effect for your equity.
And the end result? Well, it's pretty dramatic. A 30-year mortgage is, well, it's 30 years. But the average payoff time for an AIO loan? Just 7 to 10 years. That is a total game changer. But to really get why this works, we need to look at the system we're all stuck in.
Okay, if this whole thing is a story, then we need to talk about the villain. And the villain's name is amortized interest. It's the system that every single standard mortgage is built on, and let's be honest, it's completely rigged against you. It's designed to make the bank money, not to get you out of debt.
So here's the scam. You make your mortgage payment every month, right? For the first, 10, 15 years of that loan, almost all of your money, your hard-earned cash, is just going straight into the bank's pocket as interest. It barely touches the principal. It's only way down the road that you start making any real progress. The whole system is set up to pay the bank first, and you last.
The AIO just takes that whole system and throws it right in the trash. It works on simple interest, calculated daily. That means from day one, your very first paycheck deposit starts attacking your principal. Suddenly, time isn't working against you anymore. It's your best friend.
All right, that's enough of the theory. Let's see this thing in action. Let's look at another real-world example, because the proof is in the payoff, right? Okay, get ready for this. We've got a couple. They buy a $600,000 house. Their loan is $540K. Fast forward 9.3 years. On a normal loan, they'd still owe a whopping $463,000. With the AIO loan, they're done, paid off, free and clear. But wait, it gets better. Here's the real kicker. Look at the wealth they can build over 30 years. If they just invest what their mortgage payment used to be, they end up with over $5.3 million. That's more than double what they would have had. It's just staggering.
And that brings us full circle, right back to Veronica and her supposedly amazing 2.75% rate. Because if you thought that last example was crazy, just wait. Her numbers are even more mind-blowing. Let's break this down piece by piece.
First up, payoff time. That $475,000 they still owe? Gone. In 20 months. Yeah, less than 2 years. Next, the savings. By wiping out that debt so fast, they avoid paying over $141,000 in interest. That's money that stays in their family, not the bank's.
But this is the number that really matters. They get back over 2 decades of their lives, 22.1 years, without a single mortgage payment hanging over their heads. What is that worth?
Well, let's put a number on it. What can you do with 22 extra years of no mortgage? If they just invest that old payment, they can create an additional $2.2 million in wealth. This is what we mean by opportunity cost. This is the real price of being handcuffed to a traditional loan.
Okay, I know this all sounds like a miracle, but let's be real. It's not for absolutely everyone. This is a powerful tool, and it's really designed for financially disciplined people who can check a few specific boxes. So let's run through that checklist really quickly.
So there are basically 4 main things they're going to look for. First, you need equity, at least 20% in your home. Second, you need a good FICO score. We're talking 700 plus. Third, your debt-to-income ratio, or DTI, needs to be 43% or lower. And last, you've got to have some liquid reserves. Savings, investments, that kind of thing.
And how much you need in reserves really just depends on that DTI number. If your DTI is pretty low, under 40%, then you'll need reserves that equal about 10% of the loan amount. If your DTI is a little higher, say between 40 and 43%, then they'll want to see that reserve number bump up to 15%. So when you take all of this in, it really just boils down to one simple but honestly pretty profound question. It's about rethinking what a mortgage really costs you.
We're all programmed to obsess over the interest rate. But as we've seen, the real cost, it's not the interest. It's the time. It's the 2 or 3 decades of your life you give away. It's the millions in wealth you could have built. So the question I want to leave you with isn't what's your interest rate, it's what is the opportunity costing you? What is staying in that old, broken system really costing you?